this manifesto of 2025 that every Guyanese earning below $400,000 a month, and that's most Guyanese, entitled to a free piece of land. And so we want to talk to you about some of those issues as well. Last year, monies were appropriated in the budget that we agreed to so that our markets might be fixed. And then we start drilling down in them. We found out a couple things. You know, folks like Kwame like the drilling. So we use the word sparingly when we talk about drilling down. But when we drilling down in the rest of them, they start squealing, and then we found out that the monies that were appropriated to fix the markets in this country went to do other things, went to friends, family, and favorites. And we know they're going to come to the township of Linden, and they're going to say the town council and K, nothing but the people here, look how the market looking. But when your representatives, our representatives, went to that National Assembly and appropriated that money to fix the markets, you know, can't jump their hand. So these are some of the issues, brothers and sisters, we're going to be raising with you folks. And if you guys have questions too, we might be able to take some questions. But we want you folks to see us face to face. We want you folks to engage us. And we want you folks to tell you what we've been doing in the National Assembly. And this is what it's about, listening to you and you folks listening to us as well. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome a man who needs no introduction. He's a hard worker and public servant for Linden. He was a councillor in the Linden and at the Linden Town Council, and now he has arisen to the rank of deputy of acting mayor. I say he's the mayor of the mining town of Linden, and he's also a councillor at the regional level. Let us together and welcome the mayor, Mr. Dominic Blair. Put your hands together for him this afternoon. Good evening, Linden.
Proud as mayor to not to stand above you, to stand among you guys. As MP said, we're here to discuss issues. And I want to bring the issues that are at the municipality. They say all politics are local. All politics are local. Thanks for reminding me. And we want you guys to know about those issues. As your elected representative, we want you to know that we are there working. It sounds good, right? The removal of the toll. But hear what they didn't tell you. It's affecting the municipality significantly. Because the toll in the municipality is the area that the council earns its most revenue. We're not against you removing the toll. But later on, I'll tell you who benefits when the removal of the toll. We're saying that they should have consulted with us, your representative. Most of the persons we would have engaged them. The vice president said last year that they would have come and engaged the municipality. As today, no engagement has been made with the municipal councillors. And here why that is affecting us. You hear MP Sher talk about the budget? But let me start out to show you how it's affecting us. Presently now, the council is facing industrial actions by workers. As mayor, I received a letter last week because we cannot sustain payment at the municipality. And I want you guys to know the workers there at the municipality is some of our neighbors, some of our friends, some of our families. And we cannot maintain them. Because when you remove that toll, what you did is remove a part of the municipality, and that will trickle down to you, the people, and especially the market area, the central business zone, because it would affect goods and services to the people of Linden. We have fought vigorously to ensure garbage will be removed from the front of the market. You remember in front of the market, we used to say it's a dump site. We were able to remove. Now, 2 days ago, I got a call from a market vendor. And they said to me, the garbage started back piling up again. I said it's a result of us losing the monies at the toll. How? I said, we gained $77 million from a year revenue from that toll booth. We cannot presently affix our budget because of that same removal of that toll. Where we were saying to the government, we're saying, let the small vehicles continue to remove the toll for the small vehicles. The trucks and the heavy duty machinery pay the toll. How many of us in Linden owns a truck? So who is the one benefiting when we remove the toll? Exactly. Friends, family, and favorites. That removing the toll is to affect Linden people. We could have said, I said to you before, let the cars pass. Because a lot of us own cars, small vehicles. But let the trucks continue to pay. And they're avoiding us because they know our position. Let us go now to disaster within the community. You see, myself, councillors, we're always within the community. We talk about disaster. We heard the budget talk about monies for disaster. We have so many disasters within this community recently. We had West Watuka flooding. Persons lose livestock farming, different areas. We suffer in West Watuka. As of today, nobody was engaged by government, the CDC. I want to say the CDC gave, the use bucket and bleach. But yet again, let me remind you of a story when the Pelori stand was disrupted. Person gets as much as $200,000 to our people. You're the MP talk about 1.5 trillion budget. We just had a natural disaster. Why are residents not compensated within that budget? Is that money for natural disaster? We just had a disaster. Again, I cannot stress that this government is not working for us, Linden. And this time, we must take a stand. You show me with business presently in this market area got access to that grant. I could say, because I'm from right here, I'm a son of this area. I walk here every single day. Not one single person, small business, got access to those grants. These are the issues we're talking about. I'm happy to see you guys came out to hear from us, because we want to ensure and remind you that we are working for you, the people. We have our challenges at the municipality. We had somebody impose on us. We're still working to ensure I want you to, the people know that your council and your councillors have not gotten stipend. And this is money budgeted for, you know. Over 8 months. Over 8 months. And this is money budgeted for. The point I'm making, we're not there for money. We're there to represent your interests. And this is us bringing the interest, your interest streets. I want to pause here because I know we have some dynamic speakers coming from the national level. I want to give them the opportunity. This is just a first meeting. We have a series of meetings locally that we're planning to move across community to talk to our people. So this is just the first leg, but we are planning some meetings across the community to talk to you, the people. What are those issues? And we need your support. Your council needs your support. Your elected representative need your support. Thanks for having me there this afternoon. And rest assured, we will still be there fighting for you guys.
All right, give it up, give it up, give it up for our very own mayor, the one and only Dominic Blair. Folks, as we said when we started budget 2026, $1.558 trillion. Big. And we want to know what of that percentage is for you as a people that consumes us, that what is for you must get to you, and not just a small cabal who is getting everything. We learned that this budget is also over 12% bigger than the last one. And that's all we've heard. Over the last 5 years, they've spent about $5 trillion. But how has your life improved? When you come out here for a little recreation, are you able to buy a little extra drink? A little extra chicken and chips? Or is it the same as it was last year? Is your life any brighter? And one of the things Mayor Blair referred to, the theme of this year's budget was stolen from the APNU because the government is so bankrupt of ideas, putting people first. But we understand, just listen to the mayor, this is not a government that's interested in putting people first, because by now they would have sat down with the municipality and worked out with the municipality how they're going to meet that shortfall of $77 million, which comes back from the bridge to pay the workers of the municipality. And we want Lindeners to understand this. Local government elections are upon us, and they're going to come and say, we care. But where were they? And Guyanese are feeling the harshness of this government and the high cost of living more than any other area. We feel it, and we know it because we live it. And a man who understands these issues, because he's a man of the people, is my brother. He is an expert, I think, in forensic criminology and a whole host of things. He's bright. He's a doctor. He's not a fake doctor. He's not a quactor. Beware of the fake doctors and the false prophets and the bishops and the great bishops. Beware of them. This is a real doctor. You got some quactors. You got some quactors, my sisters and brothers. They claim that they're so bright. Soon as they see you coming through the door, they start writing a prescription. What kind of doctor is that? And they hear your problems yet. But this is a doctor who has studied law back to front. And he had them barred in the National Assembly for budget 2026. Here began, he says, she like it bad, Lee come. Well, he gonna know what to do with that after we finish here. But let us welcome the one and only, the great doctor, A good doctor, the one and only, my brother, Dexter, Dr. Dexterton. Put your hands together for him.
The rain came down. I'm doing some grave injustice standing in the rain because I'm fighting a flu. Oh, so that could come. Listen. We are not here to make noise tonight. We are really here to speak to you and to get you to understand, first and foremost, that we understand our task. Our task as a party to represent the interests of our people. We do take that very, very seriously. One of the things that we've recognized that is happening in our society is that there is a lot of misinformation. Social media, and this is happening all over the world, but particularly Guyana, we have not been able to grapple with the amount of misinformation that is out there. And many of our young people sometimes are caught up with that misinformation. The PPPC, they have thrived on misinformation. And what we plan to do continuously is to make sure that we come to you and we speak to you. We speak to your level of reasoning for you to understand the fight that we are up against. Many of you are running a business, have run a business, or you know somebody running a business. And you know the importance of accountability. This is what this government does not have: accountability. They brought a budget to this country, and you would recognize, first and foremost, that there are projects in the budget which we as a party never said that we were against. So this misinformation and this false narrative that APNU does not want development for the people, that is not true. We keep saying that we have a problem with the people who are spending the money, because the people who are spending the money in the past have not demonstrated a good accountability to this country. They have always demonstrated that they are more inclined to corruption. Now, you and I know that the word corruption was banned from the parliament. But as we are on the street and we are in the street parliament, Mr. Speaker has allowed that we tell you that they are corrupt. They are corrupt. I want to begin by telling you why we as a party did not support this supplementary budget. In 1 month, between November 2025 and December 2025, without any parliamentary oversight and approval, this government spent over $18 billion. Then came to the parliament and expected that we on the opposition side will support that illegal act. Now, I want to justify our actions, because this is what we are here to do. Many people do not recognize that the people who are the shareholders of this country, you are, And if you understand the power of shareholders, you have the power. And this is what we are doing. We are coming to account to you for our behavior. And we are saying the reason we did not support on your behalf a government spending of over $18 billion because they could not justify why they spent it without coming to the parliament. Nothing stopped the parliament machinery from working for ensuring that parliament was convened. Nothing stopped them. All the people were there. Elections were over. Nothing stopped them. Now they came, and if you listen back to the tapes, you would recognize that they talked about building roads, emergency what road? What road? And if you look at it, it is the same type of projects that they have included in the 2026 budget, in which they are asking and trying to justify spending of over $1.something trillion in this country. Listen, we must not be misled. This budget that was passed is not really about developing people. So while they talk about it being putting people first, it is not putting people first. It is about putting infrastructure first. Over 60% of this budget, of this $1 trillion budget, is focused on infrastructure and not focused on developing the people. Our leader, and I encourage you, if you are not watching the press conferences on Fridays from APNU, ask the person if you're watching. Ask them if they watch. Tell them shame on you if you don't watch. Because a lot of information comes out there. If you're not following our page, you have to start following it. You must make it a law in your house that you must follow, because we are not ashamed to give you the information. And our leaders said it most profoundly today in that press conference, highlighting that the most important and valuable asset we have in this country is not infrastructure. It's the people. And that is why when we came to you with our manifesto was titled Putting People First. We understand how to put people first. And so when we were challenging them in the parliament, we were challenging them on that you're just using it as a slogan. But the programs in the manifesto did not demonstrate that you understand the task of putting people first. When you look at it, and I will give you some examples. You have, in this budget, you have the Ministry of Home Affairs passing for the police force, over $300 and something million for projects, for training, but could not identify one proper training that the police will be getting. None of them could have been able to do that. They were asked the question, yet still you expect us to spend the people's money when you cannot justify what type of training is coming to the police. As you recognize that we said in our manifesto that what we were going to do, we were going to depoliticize the police force. We continue to say that the police force is too far gone in politics. And where you have that type of corruption, where you have that type of behavior, it does not serve its mandate and its purpose. And that is the first thing we were going to do. Not pump money, more money in a bad system. We were going to correct the system first. If you look at it, you still have many officers don't know how to perform their duties, don't know how to properly investigate crimes. Look at their behavior. In this day and age, there has been very little training and use, and I talk about competent use of forensic. You and I in this country, I am telling you, we are feeling the blunt of it. Because when you have crimes that are popping up now in this country, you cannot be able to properly investigate and come to a conclusion in your investigations. You have one man, I will not call his name, but you and I know. You have one man just last year, not a part of a protest, walking home and was shot by the police with a pellet in his eyes. He had to go overseas to repair that. To this date, the police have not come to the proper investigation because they're still saying they don't know who shot. You have crimes in this country facing it. And you must recognize that the same police force that they keep pumping your money are not serving its purpose. And therefore, we say that the corruption must stop. Now, I want you to understand, if anyone is coming to your business and is asking you to spend money, what does be one of the most important things you ask them? Bring your quotation. Let me see the price. You are faced with a government that is not interested in justifying figures. You don't know where they're getting these figures from. And you and I know when you hear the prices of some of these little roads that they're doing, little that you want to know where they're getting these prices from. Corruption. And that is because, and that is why they will push infrastructure. Because that is where they get to thief the money from, man. They won't spend it on you. I bring you another example. Look at the University of Guyana. They want to pump 13 point something billion in the university. That is our own. Black people, all of us that say, community people are saying, are we on? But they will spend 20 point something billion in foreign universities, gold program. Until now, you heard about a university that came forward and disassociated itself, said, I don't know about Guyana and having been a part of the gold program. Did we get back our money? Was there an investigation as to who misrepresented that to the people of this country? Was there an investigation? Nothing. Swept under the carpet. When going out to this country to programs left, right, and center, to universities that some of you will never know, me and you will never know. We can't travel there. We ain't traveling there. We ain't going there. That's where the money going. I looked at the list of the universities on the goal, and I am telling you, just about 4 or 5 a normal person can be able to call. Some of those names, you want to know, what has anybody gone there and have seen those universities? No. Corruption. But we are seeing the University of Guyana, our quality spending of our monies in this country. We're talking about they are not spending enough. They are not putting enough more universities. So at the end of the day, the university can be transformed to service the people of this country. Until now, the University of Guyana is not even doing a proper course in oil and gas. Could you imagine that? Our own. And yet still we have an oil and gas industry in this country. And that is why when you see, we promised you in our manifesto that we were going to increase and spend more on training of our young people. That is what we were going to talk. That's what we were talking about. We were going to equip our people to do the jobs in this country. But they're not interested in that. Go to the foreign universities. Go to the foreign universities that you don't even know, you can't see. Wastage of monies. So that is why we couldn't support them. When you talk about some of the prices, look, they talk about allocating over 4.8, I believe it's about $4.8 billion for Linden, for electricity. But they cannot give a proper in relation to how are you going to spend that money so that the people of Linden will have better stable electricity in this country. They're talking about grid all over the street. Look, listen, this is what I'm talking about, misinformation. Sometimes when I get worked up and I got to steadily calm myself down. The ship that they bring, how many times we got blackout from the ship they bring? How much money we spend on that ship? Huh? You understand me? There is no justification for the monies that we're spending in this country. And all they do is talking about that. When you talk, we talk about, listen, nothing in this budget takes down cost of living. Nothing. And at the end of the day, we are still going to face with a high cost of living. There is absolutely nothing in the budget and the plan for Linden for the increase of jobs and challenging the unemployment percentage in Linden. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. And that is not putting people first. So we are justified presenting you and saying we could not support some of the measures in this budget because it was not a proper all-inclusive plan. You talk about, in my last point, you talk about how many young people are not giving opportunities in this place. You know why? And I want you to go back to our manifesto. You will see in our manifesto that we promised you that one of the things we were going to do is ensure that there is a national development plan for our young people, so that we were going to have a proper youth policy for our young people. Nothing in the budget, nothing in the budget, which demonstrates that this government is a caring government and cares about our young people. You want to talk? I'll give you another example. Carrying down of cost of living. What did we say to you? We say to you that we have 10 administrative regions. We were going to ensure that all administration 2 and 3, which are going to be viable when it comes to agriculture. We said every region, so that Linden was in our plan and our manifesto to ensure that agriculture was going to boom in Linden, and so that we could have brought down the prices of food. You see this government? Nothing. No plan. Everything they have maintained the same way that they were doing it. But they'll just keep pumping and pumping of money. I want to say to you, and just moments ago I sat down there and I reviewed the Procurement Act. This is my last point. I reviewed the Procurement Act. And I want you, it's right on your phone, you can Google it, just press in Procurement Act of Guyana. Start reading from 2003. And I will tell you why people in this country, it's going to be hard under the PPPC to bring them out of poverty. Many of the contracts that will be awarded will never be awarded to the PPP to ordinary people. You know why? There is provisions in the act where you have to come up with security for the project. Security. Now tell me, I want you to you will go and you will bid for a $300 and something million contract. How in the end of the day, and that is what, and that when you don't buy all you have to buy, your equipment, your materials, you ain't leave with nothing, pay your workers, you ain't leave with nothing. And so this whole thing where they're trying to make you seem that big numbers will make you benefit more, it will not happen under the PPPC. You know why? Because they do not put the people first. They put themselves first, their friends, their families, and their favorite first, because those are the only people who will get the contracts. And you hear, you look at it, you see, and the type of things we got to reason and we got to see through the deception of the PPP. Because at the end of the day, just as my brother said, the main people who will be your suppliers, who are the suppliers? You got anybody in Linden that you can say is an ordinary man who's pushing and can get access to supply any contract? No. No. So it is a circle. This accountable, and we continue to highlight and we continue to mobilize, because it's not only about highlighting, it's about mobilizing. And I want, by the time we leave here tonight, that we must awake in you that passion and understanding that Linden must become a strong army. And you that has the integrity to do that. No matter we are walking around highlighting and putting up on screen who building big house, we did that, done that, and we move on. We have buy things that they're not supposed to buy. So when we bring that to you, there ain't nothing. We call you to action, and the action is when it's time, and the time is now to begin to work greater than ever before to take back this country from this cabal that is running this country down. The time is now. We are waiting till 2031. We are waiting till then. When they call local government election, this is the greatest army. Linden, listen, Linden is about time you allow the ground to shake. Because this country now cannot allow you to stay silent. You are thinking yourself that you ain't got no power. I am telling you, you got representatives that got the power. You got the power in your hand and in your voice, and we will join with you and we will bring them down. Thank you.
Give it up, give it up, give it up, Dr. Todd. Come on, put that together. Dr. Todd. Talking the things there. This money gotta mean something for you. And I want you, as Dr. Todd said, on our administration, it would have meant 35% increase in wages and salary for public servants. That is how you put people first. We would have increased the minimum wage to $200,000 a month. That is how you put people first. All right, put your hands together, because we've had a lot of women. We've had a lot of men. We need some women and women and women and women and women. All right, Lola Day. Put your hands together and let's welcome young activist Cassandra. Cassandra. Give it up for her.
Mackenzie Market Square. It's the Green family on the Mackenzie Market Square, and y'all making nice, y'all sleeping. This is what like, well, we know that the current government is not a people-centered government because we ran with a people-centered team, right? As a youngster, it hurts because we are not being put first. But the budget says that they are putting people first. So my question to the current government is infrastructure people? Is infrastructure people? Is infrastructure people? No, because the infrastructure focus on friendlies and favorite. Let me give you details about infrastructure in Linden. We have footpaths, but footpaths lead to creeks, right? When you walk half, you gotta swim half for run the other half, right? And that should not be. Today, while coming out, I took a walk in Victory Valley. I had to roll up my pants all the way to my thigh. And the sandals loose up because I had to walk through water. That should not be. They say they're people-centered, right? The budget is putting people first, but yet still you and I are not being put first because only the other day, cost of living went up, right? I spoke to a few people on the market. People on the market that is telling me 3 small green mango is for $1,000. They're putting people. They could never be putting people first. Me as a fruit lover, because when the lady said $200 for the golden apple, me one little golden apple by the time you make 2 bites, it's done. But there's the cost of living, right? They focus so much on the unnecessary, but the necessary things they don't take into consideration, which is us, the people. Because you can have a state-of-the-art country, but without the people, it makes no sense. You could have a state-of-the-art country, but with people, it makes no sense, right? They say it's putting people first. But the young people who lost their lives, the young people whose family are still calling for justice today, are they not people to be placed first? Are they not people to be placed first? They're young people like myself. I could have been caught in a crossfire going home, right? And they would have said, oh, we put in people first. And then you're hearing nothing more. Recently, I watched the police harass a youngster in a school uniform Is that putting people first? If you don't have respect for the people and the clothes that they wear, how are you putting them first? Is it the putting people first is putting them into the ground? Is putting people first putting them into the ground? The innocent ones in the ones that have no voice. But let me tell you, Mackenzie Market Square, I am a youngster with a voice, and this voice will be heard. Right? This voice will be heard. Look at the children on Blueberry Hill who lives around the multilateral school. Now they fence off the ball field. Where will they have recreational activities? They didn't put no system in place. Few places up, right on Blueberry Hill, they fence off the other ball field. How are our children being put first? Young people have nowhere to go and kick ball. They have to utilize the road. And they can't enjoy a good game because every minute they gotta stop for car pass. Or the road flood, them can't play. I urge the current government, not even the current government, the Minister of Public Works, who speaks so highly about infrastructure, don't just come and walk on the main road that are asphalt. Come into the valleys. Come where your contractors did the concrete roads. Walk and get your foot wet, or are you too big for that? They're too big for that, right? They're not God. But instead of putting people first, did they put Keon Fudgenet first? Because I know Vanessa still calls for justice. Did they put Ronaldo Peters first? Because I know his mother still calls for justice. We have Shemroy Boye, Alan Lewis. We have Amar the other day. We have those two little children who lost their lives. Are they being placed first? They say they're putting people first. Have they reached out to the different parents saying at least we give you our sympathy? No. But they say they are putting people first, right, DJ? Because I feel like these people sleeping on these points. I'm a youngster with a difference, right? Now, myself and Comrade visited certain areas, and this really hurt me that I have to speak about it. Stroud Park that has no footpath, but the other alleys have footpath. Well, some of them swimming, you won't call them a footpath, you'd call them creek. But why? My question is, why doesn't Stroud Park have a footpath? Is it because our leader and Mr. Corbyn had parents who lived through there? Do not say that you are putting people first if you're holding grudges against the ones with the voice. Do not say you're putting people first if you're holding grudges against the ones with the voice. DJ?
No people come to Jamaica and don't know how we live things. Say everything nice too, we full of vibes and things. Them same one feel it to them heart when
I know for a fact that they hold that against us. Because we are not only a party that decides to put you, the people, first, but we are a party with a voice. And our 12 that are seated to represent us in the National Assembly, we would say some of them in manners. We would say some of them that just tag their mind. But I say, speak the things. I say, speak the things, because if we don't talk, they'll continue to make a mess of this great country. If we don't speak, they will continue to make a mess of the people that they are neglecting, but they are putting who first? Who them putting first, Mackenzie Market Square? Not me. And then they say, oh, they give grants to children and transportation and all these things they boast and brag about that they stole. We had a system called the 5Bs. You was never late for school. By the time 8:30, 9 o'clock, the school full. Now, at 10 and minutes to 11, if you're going down the highway, you see children at bus stop. And then the Minister of Education is saying, oh, teachers not in school. But if the children are not in school, to whom the teachers are teaching? If the children are not in school, to whom the teachers are teaching? They brag and they boast about so many things, but it is not factual. It is never factual. There's so many points and times where young people just want to break down because the PPP is pressuring them. They are being pressured. I would say instead of building a bigger police station, build an institution that houses the young people. Build an institution that the young people. I know the young people would not turn away from that, but if they don't have anything to turn to, they turn to the streets. A lot of young people do not retaliate because they feel retaliate. APNU administration plan to say more to that. Because we are not preparing for such. We are prepared. We are prepared to take not only our people back, but we are prepared to take our country back. Because you know what? The PPP is crumbling. They are crumbling like cookies because even to their own people are seeing what they are doing. And it is not right. And if I, as a youngster, could say, enough is enough, their own people are saying, enough is enough. We're not going to fight them with violence. We fight them with facts. Facts that make they crumble themselves. They're going to eat away at each other. Right? So me as a youngster, I am saying enough is enough. And I will follow this administration. And I will be the voice of the young people who've been neglected. I will be the voice of the young people who are being neglected. So they could build bigger police station. They're not, they're right. And I want to say thank you, Mackenzie Market Square, for listening to me. I am Cassandra Rodney.
Thank you, Cassandra. Give it up for Cassandra Rodney. Talking the things there. And I love it as a young person bringing the facts, spitting the facts. You know, this movement in great hands. You know, and I love that Cassandra talked about the 5Bs. But we wanted to do that and even greater, continue free education. When these jagabats and trench crappers come in, they found free education. They didn't bring free education. They returned it to where they found it. And in addition to free education, the APNU wanted to give young people $50,000 a month as a stipend to ensure that they can get the bus or the boat or whatever it is to go to school and they can maintain themselves a little bit. $50,000 as a stipend to every young person attending a tertiary institution. That is how you put people first. And in every way that Cassandra Rodney spoke about there. In addition to that, I see we got big folks here. Y'all know us big people, we got to stick together, right? We wanted to increase old age pension to $100,000 a month. That's how you put people first. That's how you put people first. Let us put our hands together and a businessman that understands the numbers. This guy is multi-talented. I think he's a billionaire. He might want to tell you all that. He got a lot of money. Right? He got so much money. He's prolonged business and he sing and so on. And all of that. You know, he's a father, a husband. So he wears so many hats. I'm happy to call him a brother and a fellow member of parliament. Put your hands together for MP Psycho Andrew. Give it up. Yeah, big yeah.
Every one of my steps are hard.
Who we tell him that?
If you're not going with me, I'm not going from here.
Yeah.
Since I need
DJ, stop that. Listen, I just want to assure you, a lot of you know me as a gospel artist. And I want to put this disclaimer that if God ain't going with me in politics, I ain't going. I ain't moving.
If you're not going with me, I'm not going.
And listen, when it comes to politics and governance, if Linden ain't going with we, Apnu ain't going no way.
If you're not going with me,
listen,
I'm not going from here.
if the youths are not going with this team is not prepared to go anywhere. That's what I DJ. It's important that I speak to the youths. We are repping for you because you are the future of this country. Not only the future of this country, but you are the now of this country. So if you are under the sound of my voice, under the age of 40, just know Apnu welcomes the youth and we're not prepared to move without
Look on
you.
the gully side.
What is DJ Nice Man?
Smile about.
Look on the riverside, yeah. All right, DJ. All right. Let me throw off my gospel. Let me throw off my artists and let me talk to the people. Hold on, hold on. Listen, when we look on the gully side, there's nothing to smile about. There is nothing to smile about. Hard working single parents are burdened on average $60,000 a year to send their children to school just for transportation. 60 grand. The government comes and gives you $20,000 as a transportation grant. 1/3 single parent mothers, fathers who are working in the interior, in construction, blood, sweat, and tears, don't have enough money for food. Got to spend 60 grand on average to send their kids to school. But this government gives you 20,000. But guess what? They give 20,000 to you single parent. Fathers and mothers and grandmothers, they give you 20,000 to deal with transportation. And they stick a camera in your face, in your kid's face, and they tell you, let's have a photo up so that they can score cheap political points. But at the end of the day, you're still saddled with the burden of finding $40,000 to take your kids to school. The government has done all of that after they would have destroyed what the APNU had put in place, the 5Bs program. No, DJ, that's way, no, let me speak. The 5Bs program, on average, would have taken care of your transportation. That is money, 40,000 you could have kept in your pockets. The 5Bs program could have given kids a hot meal in the mornings. They say breakfast is the most important meal and kids focus better when something is in the stomach. That is what the government took away from you and give you $20,000. And some people have the audacity to stand in front of camera and say, I want to thank the government for this 20,000. Thank for what? They took what was rightfully yours.
On average, 25 grand parents save per month. They took it away and gave you 20 grand per year in transportation. That is not somebody who cares for you. That is somebody who cares about their politics. That is a team that cares about power, not people. So Linden, tonight is an eye-opener for you to understand when we have pensioners lying up in the sun. Some of them getting, let me go back, some of them getting blackout, fainting, just to collect the pension on a month. Pressure. While this government uses infrastructure to take money from out of the hands of people. Let me tell you a story. As we went into budget estimates, it's the first time I'm even looking at a budget estimate. I decided to go through projects. And you started examining projects and what it costs. And I got some information I really want to share with you guys, Linden. There's a road that Forbes Burnham had the insight, the vision to think about. It's a road that led from Mandela, and it would have led all the way to Soesdijk. It is now called Heroes Highway. Because when the PPP came to power, they made that plan. It was there for decades. They made that plan. They didn't conceptualize it. They didn't have time to conceptualize it. It was there. So they came and they decided to put it out. Listen, it's supposed to be 5 phases. The first phase started in 2021. It cost $928 million for 1 kilometer road that ran through the cane field. 1 year later, 2022, the next phase, from 928, it went up to $1.4 billion for 1 kilometer. 2023, Diamond to Busby, same road, same cane field, same conditions. It went up from 1.4 billion to 2.3 billion for 1 kilometer of road. Listen, phase 4, 2025. Phase 4, 2025, Busby to Land of Canaan. This road went up. Same scenario, same situation, same cane field, same distance between all the trenches. This road cost us $4.6 billion per kilometer of road. Listen, this is facts. And if they want to dispute it, they can just Google the information. Google Drive. Now listen to me. Let us get into the details. At phase 4, there was a company, an Indian company, bid to do the entire phase 4. They bid $41.5 billion. Did they get the contract? No. Guess what? We signed contracts for $52.5 billion to do that same stage 4. Phase 4, we lose 11 billion Guyana dollars. You know what 11 billion Guyana dollars can do? 11 billion dollars. Listen, all the pensioners raise your hand. 11 billion Guyana dollars can give 95,000 old age pensioners 115 plus thousand Guyana dollars off the bat. So, take the last up on your chest. But the government doesn't care for old age pensioners. The government cares about their politics. They are more concerned about political mileage rather than to be concerned with good life that they should be offering to the people of this country. So that is what 11 billion, one project, we lost that money. And then they would come to you, Linden, and they would say to you, look, we love you. But Linden, they don't love you. The budget is a document that speaks to the intention of a government. The government tells you what is their intention every year when they present a budget. And the fact that they presented a budget for $1.558 trillion and 50+%, more than half, goes to infrastructure, it tells me that they are more concerned about infrastructure than they are concerned about the people of this country. When the government presents in their budget, $100 million for poverty alleviation measures, but they gave man on mission 900 million, it tells me that they are more concerned about a grouping of people that walks around this country building small pieces of homes, renovating a few, and talking about what men should do, rather than lifting the 58% of Guyanese out of poverty and into the middle class. The budget speaks to the intention of the government. And for 5 years, Linden, this government has strangled your progress. The Blair Rock Stadium, conceptualized by the APNU, government came to power 5 years after. Then they deliver it to you. It was close to election, so they had to get it out of the way because it was becoming a problem. They couldn't even get it out on time. 5 years later, then they give you at the end basically of an election cycle, because you know what? They're not concerned about the athletes of Linden. They're not concerned about the physical education of youths in Linden. They are more concerned about their politics and power. And that is why a whole election cycle has to elapse before they deliver something solid to you. Listen to me, outside of the fact that they didn't do good, let us look at the Wisma Bridge. They came to power, it was already conceptualized. The Demerara Harbor Bridge has been completed. A whole lot of roads have been completed. But that bridge, they say, is 95% now completed after 5 years in power. In Linden, it is only 95% complete. You know why? Because Linden, let me tell you the truth. Because if God ain't going with me, I ain't going nowhere. So I got to tell you the truth. You know why? Because I think y'all is muck. They think y'all is a bunch of pacoos. They think that the youths are more fascinated about social media and social media influencers and hype geniuses than they are about what is more important about their lives. And that is why the government takes you for granted consistently. Years after year, they continue to take you for granted. That is why the Linden enterprise at 100 million sitting on a bank account. My little Indian friend here, doing a small business, could have gone get 500,000 loan, low interest. My sister, who doing hairdressing, could have gone to that institution, got a 300,000, buy a little hair dryer, but could not, because for years the government did not operationalize that program. I talk about this during the election cycle. You know what they did? When the finance minister was asked the question, why not operationalize that program that could take so many small business owners out of poverty and help them to grow? You know what he says? A lot of people don't pay back the loan. You know what critic pay back his loan? Tell me no, man. So he get for and Linden can't. America, Japan, Guyana, why Linden can't? No, I'm not saying get yourself in debt, but I'm signaling to you the intention of a government that their friends could own 900 billion. They can borrow trillions and lose it and misuse it. But when it comes to you, the little petty $100 million, they're saying we can't allow you to borrow it. You know why? Because again, take you for muck. They take you for paku. And you understand? And the last election, Linden, young people decided that they're going to go left. But I'm here to bring them back right. Because I'm here to tell you that there's a group of people. There's a group of people that comes under the APNU banner that is influenced by conscience and God, that is concerned about people, that is concerned about progress, that is concerned about value for money, that is concerned about lifting 58% of our people from the bottom and putting them in the middle. And that is why we create solid programs. That is why our manifesto had amazing programs to help small business owners. Listen, Now there's a small business development bank that is about to give $3 million to small business. We know part of the bank there, but the money is already allocated. But here's the funny thing about that. The minister could not say to us, after you lend a small business person $3 million, like how some people lend me $3 million for start me business, and when the $3 million done, you're looking for the next brace because small businesses take time to do. Where is the plan? After you lend me $3 and I blow through it and the business still ain't grow, what's the plan? The plan is to send you to a banking institution that can offer you 7. So what if you don't qualify? There's no concrete plan, no progression as to how I'm going to take these small business owners from micro status and literally take them and lift 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 them until they become mid-sized business. You know why? Because the government do not care about you. They do not care about Linden. And it's sad that I have to say this. They have some friends that will come to you, Linden, and tell you that they now suddenly care about you. Where were they when you were not treated the right way? Did they utter a voice for you? Who find Jesus that they suddenly become a saint? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring this to an end by letting you know, again, that the budget to split this vote and shore up the government, we are giving them warning that this ain't going down how it went down. No, 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 no. Each man on the ground, everyone win one, bring one, vote for one. That's it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, give it up, give it up, give it up. Our brother Psycho Andrews, member of parliament, talking the things. He said we had the programs and have the programs that can lift our Guyanese brothers and sisters to higher heights. We propose in our manifesto the development bank, a state-owned development bank. We also propose an investment bank. And Psycho started with our young people. I wrote my notes down, don't come for me. We also propose for our young people a youth investment fund that our young people can tap into and access grants and low interest loans. That is how you put people first. Linden. And with that, I want to welcome a lady that understands these issues. She's a firebrand. She knows how to lay it on, check on them, the Jacobus and the trench crappos. Put your hands together and let's welcome Member of Parliament, Charita Finance. Give it up.
Good night, Linden. It's good to see so many of you out here tonight. I'm no stranger to Linden. I've been walking these streets with my colleagues for a number of years, listening to your issues, rapping on doors, making sure that you are heard so that we can go to the level of the National Assembly and advance your cause, because that's why we're there. We're there because you voted for us to be there, to speak up on your behalf. And I am telling you tonight that your team, the APNU team, will forever represent the people of Linden and the people of Region 10. We will not let you down. Linden, I want to be very direct, and I like to deal with my facts, as you would know. One of the things I want you to first hear is that when we speak of Linden, sometimes we use Linden and Region 10 interchangeably. We do acknowledge that Region 10 is wider. You know, the preliminary census, it said that Linden, it started 3,183 people living in Linden. And for Region 10, it was 45,499. So that is what the numbers are. So when we speak about Linden, we are speaking about 73% of region number 10. That is what you represent. Linden represents 73% of the population of region 10, and that's important for you to note. Now, when we're looking at the budget, You know, everybody's talking about this largest budget. You're hearing these trillions, $1.558 trillion. You would see the PvP going around if you go to your social media pages, go to their ministry pages, and they're doing the most minute things for communities. Somebody buy a truck here to pick up garbage, big celebration with a budget of $1.558 trillion. They want to spend the money on the people of this country. It is their job to spend the money on you, the people of Linden. And you are not to behave as though you must be grateful for something that you you hear about people that care, government that care for its citizen. One of the things that a government do that care is make sure that the most vulnerable people are taken care of. You agree? Pensioners are taken care of. What did we have for pensioners in the 2026 budget? $5,000 increase. They moved from 41,000 Guyana dollars to $46,000. That is budget 2026, Lindeners. Pensioners, that is what the PPP had to offer at the national level. We have more vulnerable people in society. Some of us had it a little more better than our neighbors sometimes. Some people need public assistance. What did this $1 trillion budget offer to persons receiving public assistance? An increase of how much? An increase of 3,000 Guyana dollars. You moved it from $22,000 a month. That's what the PPP moved it from. 2025 budget, $22,000 a month for the public assistance. 2026, they spent millions of dollars parading the streets talking about the biggest budget ever. And then they came to the National Assembly and they announced that public assistance will be going from $22,000 to $25,000. That is the PPP administration for you. So when they come to your homes, when they come to your communities, when they walk the street of Linden, when they go in the boat and they go up the river, Fordham Region 10, you tell them that they are disrespectful to Guyanese and you will not support them. We've got to be real. You know, sometimes it's easy to talk when you're using their information. It's easy to speak when you're using their data. You know, a lot of times they start an assembly and they give you a whole lot of books. Well, guess what? All, every page, every line. Because we know them. There are some things that we learned in budget 2026 at Lindeners that you should know. You know, my time is not gonna be forever. So I want to talk to you about a few things. And I want to go back to what the young lady, excellent representation coming from Linden, Miss Cassandra. Excellent representation. I'm so proud of you and I know you got far to go, I can see it. You know, she was talking about going out there and buying fruits and so forth, and the price is going up. The government came to the National Assembly. You know what they told us? They say inflation rate going down. But guess what? And I challenge you to always go out there, fact check them. And when you're unable, we can do it for you. If you are to go, and I have the note here, if you were to go to the Bureau of Statistics website, you know what they would say? The price of food From January 2025 to January of 2026, food price alone went up by 6.7%. So Cassandra and Lion, this is their data. This is the data that explains what Cassandra's saying, that when she goes to buy fruits and vegetables, the price is going up. That affects ordinary Guyanese. You know who it don't affect? It don't affect the PPP ministers. It don't affect the big boys driving around in the Prado, you know, those with the flashing light were just beeping, honking for you to get out of the way. It don't affect them. Because when Psycho talked about the amount of money they're increasing for the cost of infrastructure, they're pocketing the money, so these price inflation don't affect them, it affects you, the people of Linden.
Looking for sweetness to put inside a basket. I am the whole blinking market.
The DJ is on point. I have to the songs. You know, we have some very, very matters to talk about. And governance is, you look at groups of people, political parties going to an election, and you have to decide which of these groups can actually represent you best, who is most capable, who has delivered more to the people of Guyana, who has delivered more to the people of Region 10, who has delivered more to the people of Linden. And I want to say to you, when it comes to education, Linden, Region 10, the APNU has delivered more than the PPP can ever dream to deliver to the people of Region 10. I want to challenge you. You know, we're talking, this is street parliaments. We got to bring the data. When you look at the volume 2 of their budget, you know what you're going to see? You're going to see Region 10 in 2025. Matriculation rate, and you know what the matriculation rate is? Is the amount of students that pass both maths and English that can go on to further education, to further studies at university level, college, and so forth. They pass both maths and English. Region number 10, when it comes to the matriculation rate, in 2025, Region 10 only had a matriculation rate of 21%. 21%. The PP government has spent hundreds of millions of dollars in education, billions of dollars telling you they're billing this and they're billing that. And they have delivered less when it comes to education. I want to give you some facts. Very important facts. I just told you matriculation is both maths and English, right? This is from the Ministry of Education website. Important for you to know it, because I tell you, when you go out there and you vote for people, you have to vote for people that can deliver to you. This is not a talk shop. This is not about who can go out there and get more likes and shares and all of that. This is about who can represent and deliver people so that yourselves and your children could have a better life and your future could be better. When it comes to 2020, had 5 years under the APNU of training and teaching. In 2020, the 24%. Did you hear that? 2020, 49%. 2021, 24%. 2022, 28%. 2023, 29%. And 2024, this is the last one they have up, 24%.
Education is a
Hundreds of millions of dollars being spent. You would go online, you would hear the Minister of Education, the previous and the current, parading themselves, talking about the schools that they're building, the infrastructure that they're planning. And when it comes to the quality of education that has been delivered to the people of Region 10, it is the APNU that is on matchless delivery of education. That is how you vote. You vote based on who can deliver to you, the people. You know, if you go to the volume 2, you continue to go down in those books. They don't like me, you know, because I like to get the data. If you go to the volume 2, region 10, I'm telling you all, go to it, region 10, that's the last agency in volume 2. Just turn to the back of the book. If you go to health, you know what you're going to see? You're going to see that in region number 10, the percentage of pregnant women with anemia is 22%. 22% of pregnant women in region number 10 has anemia. What the budget book is telling us. You know why? Because there is no amount of money that you can throw at a bunch of incompetent people like the PPP that they can take and actually translate that into meaningful programs so that it will benefit you, the people of Region 10, in a positive manner. Now I have some other speakers coming, but I want to touch on one last important thing. You know, when they went to the budget presentation, you're going to hear Ashley Singh stand up in the National Assembly and he can talk about employment and they slashed the unemployment rate in half. That is what they said. Thousand people to be given $50,000 a month stipend. That is their big unemployment strategy. On one hand, they're saying they create jobs, and on the other hand, they're saying so many people are unemployed that they are giving 23,000 people $50,000 a month. And I want to tell you folks something. If you vote or not, the Guyana Labor Force survey. And if you are to actually see what they are putting into that document, you would see that the PPP, when it comes to the persons employed, and this is the point I'm making, persons that are temporarily employed is over 14%. And persons that are unknown is over 30%. So you know what the PPP is telling you there? The PPP is telling you there that in order to fluff up this number, to make you, the people, believe that they got this unemployment thing under control, they have recorded persons, over 30% of the people they recorded as being employed. They're also stating that they don't know whether or not they're permanently employed or they're temporarily employed. I am saying they joke the book the data is inaccurate, and we have got to call them out. Because when you go home, you know the members in your families that are unemployed. When you go home, you know your neighbors that are unemployed. And I can tell you this, we are not a lazy out, and we work hard because that is what we have been taught from our ancestors. The PPP is disrespectful to our people, and I can say this. Linden, I will go back and close by what I said. Linden, based on the census, the preliminary census, 33,183 persons living in Linden. You have a choice. And based on the data that we're presenting to you, based on the fact that the APNU has delivered more to you, you have a choice to go out there, continue to join hands with us, and continue to work with us as we continue to excel and to make sure that your voices are amplified. And I make this commitment to you that we will not give up. And there is not a single other political party that can step to us when it comes to the level of representation the APNU has given to the people of this country. There is no individual that can come to you and say that when you were at your lowest, they showed up. We have done it. This great party, the PNC, I can tell you, and I've said it so many years, has a history of representation for people of this country. And when persons come to you, I urge you, the people of Linden, to use the data and tell them we have these facts, and you can step back because we are going forward with the APNU. We are going forward with the PNCR. Linden, I thank you for listening to me tonight.
Thank you. Give it up for Rita. Give it up for Rita. I did tell you all the firebrand we got. I did tell you all the firebrand we got in Jarita Finance. Listen to me. Listen to me, Linden. Who lead matters. You know, some people can't come here and spit facts like that, you know. They can't spit facts like this, you know. Then come and tell you who fighting them down and who doing them this and that. Come on, Linden. We bright bad. You know, let me tell you something. I was a little shocked hearing Jarita call the numbers in education. You know what's the problem? The PPP want to be dance like them. They want everybody to be dance like them. But not our children, not our people. I was shocked today. Let me show you dance. You know when we say, I'd get dance with you, it's a different story. But it's not the kind of dance. Let me show you dance. I coming up to my hometown this afternoon. Coming up to my hometown. And I saw a swimming pool on the highway. Folks, not too far from here, I saw a swimming pool. In 50 plus years, Linden, Forbes, Sampson, Burnham build a highway. I never see water accumulating on it. You think I lie? Look at the photograph. It's the first time in my life I see water accumulating on a hill. This is dance. This is dance. In 50 years, that highway stood up and stood strong. Y'all notice when they dig up the highway, they had to dig far down? Because it built solid. That's how we build things. And couple days, y'all build. I see water accumulating. This is dance. This is dance. This is what we give friends, family, and favorites. Fully dance. Friends, family, and favorites. What they can tell us. All right. I want to open up a little bit for y'all. If y'all got a quick comment you want to make, you want to ask a quick question, please. We also have our political leader of the PNCR, leader of APNU, here with us tonight too. Just open it for a couple minutes. You want to give a quick comment? I hold in the mic. A quick comment, you want to ask a quick question, more in particular. We want to come and talk, this interaction. I want to hear from you. Come quick. Come with you. Come, brother.
Good evening, everyone. Gillies Benjamin Hall, past council of the RDC 10. My question is, or before my question, we are seeing so many accidents throughout our country. And I'm asking the question, what plan has been put in place to prevent those critical accidents that we are losing our people, especially on the Linden Highway? And is there any thought put in place to remove that 2-lane and expand it to a 4-lane, considering the number of vehicles traveling through Linden? I would have recognized an article on Facebook where the president lost an uncle, and immediately information was shared to look at the drainage and irrigation system to prevent such accident. Again, my question is, what is the plan put in place or law put in place to prevent those accidents happening?
You know these issues top to bottom. Rock and come in, and then I take my brother. All right, put your hands together for my sister. Being so bold. We can take a couple more, so get yourself together.
Evening. We have consistently said that the government doesn't have a plan for transportation, for roads. There are a number of things. Even the new roads they build on the East Bank. You are living in an era where you want traffic to flow, in which when you come out, everybody coming across has to stop. Most of you who travel will know that in the modern world, they will go up and under so that transportation flows in all directions and improve the flow of traffic. That's the first thing I think we need to underscore, that they continue to build roads as if we are still in 1968. The second thing is they do no study of traffic flow. And so even in cases where they put traffic lights, they are not efficient and effective. I mean, if you come from, I'm using Georgetown here, if you come from Lamaha Street to Vicindian Road, three of the lights will change, take a long time to change. And then the one coming from Dennis Street, it has little or no time on it. So there is a problem there right away. The real issue is that there is no proper planning. Transportation is not agile waking up and decide a road must go through here. A transportation, you have to get competent engineers who will develop a plan, understand the area. The other nonsense they are doing is they are roads as if we got them little 2-ton trucks where we had. So by the time they finish with the road, it's broken. So they also have got to pay attention to the quality of roads. Now, they wouldn't want to do that because when the road broke up, it's more money for them. But if you are looking at the country in the long term, then you need an approach which allows us to get quality roads. When the Susdike Linden Highway was opened in 1968, it had a 20 years guarantee lifespan. Now we build them with no guarantee, no lifespan. When the truck that go in, the road go in same time. So the real issue is for us to train transport engineers or engineers who specialize in transport and to do a number of things to fix the system rather than building roads. Even the roundabout, you could see they're now just putting roundabout for roundabout's sake. A roundabout, there is one at Ogle. There is one at Ogle that ends up making the traffic slow because You have a set coming around here, another set here, and another set from that side. You don't have 3 lanes. You have 2 lanes, so they are forced to merge and the traffic is slowed down. So it's clearly a case of lack of planning, and I believe also doing it in a way to ensure that
Up. We have another quick question there. We want to bring our final speaker. 2 questions. Come, my brother, so the camera can see you. Give it up for my brother as he comes. Let's keep the energy, keep it moving. Right here, my brother. Right here.
Good evening. I have 2 points to make. First of all, I want to thank our Lindeners to come out here, and I want to thank the visitors. But we're talking about all this money that the country got. We got the money, yes, but one thing we are not addressing at all, and I've been to several meetings, why are we not talking about the oil and gas sector? Why? Is it because we don't know? Well, let me explain something to you. For someone who has been 32 years, 32 years as a maritime officer, I have approached everyone, even my people. Nobody listens. But I'll tell you something. As a maritime officer, I understand more. Even we got 60 plus people in the parliament. If we have an emergency now, this very minute, to go offshore, none of you can go. You're not trained, you're not certified. It's hard, but I have to tell you. But I'm saying to you, I have been reaching out. Can't get the jobs because nobody is looking out for us. I have visited a very small country called Trinidad, and everybody is representing Trinidad. And right now, Trinidadians are coming here and getting job. Guyanese are getting it, but Trinidadians are saying we can't go in Trinidad and work. You know why? Because the people who represent us are doing nothing. You're getting paid, but you are doing nothing. I don't care who vex, because right now I ain't getting no place. But let me tell you something. As an officer on vessels for 32 years, whether you're listening or not, don't even know. They meet me on a daily basis, and I try to guide them to get a job offshore because of my little knowledge. But when the real people,
I also want to point out something to you that slipped me. Isn't it interesting that if you leave Georgetown and you come in on the new highways, they are 4-lane. But when you meet the Linden Highway, they are repairing it as a double lane. Now, what that means is that you will have a 4-lane running into a double lane, which will be a bottleneck. The sensible thing to do was really a highway parallel to the existing highway. When you complete that, you move and rehabilitate it so that you will have the same mistake, I think, is being made with the Mobura Road. It is being built as a 2-way, when in fact it should be 4-way, catering for the traffic. So again, it's a manifestation of a lack of a plan.
All right. Give it up for Mr. Norton, folks. Leader of the APNO, leader of PNCR, making the arguments that they can't spend your money properly. That's not putting people first. That being said, folks, I want to welcome our final speaker. Yes, our final speaker. Well, he needs no introduction. He needs no introduction. He's been warring for Linden as a long time. Warring in the streets for
to ensure that we give you that right, proper, and strong representation, because it is the only thing that we know. In that package of right, proper, strong representation is what we have promised and given to you. You heard the member of parliament, Sherrod Duncan, mentioned to you where I came from as chairman, as mayor, and in those package of titles, we've given to you two fundamental things, Linden. And we pledge to do that even with this new title, and even as we go to parliament with the APNU, which is to ensure that we defend your rights and advance your cause. Because though that may seem simple, what are your rights, Linden? What are the things that have been denied to you for the many years that you must ensure as a people, as Guyanese, that what is owed to you and entitled to you is given to you? That is a part of your right. And we have been defending that, and we will continue to defend that. So when they said to you, Linden, that you have no right to life, we said to you, we will stand shoulder to shoulder to ensure that we defend the right of Shemroy, Allen, and Ron. Last year, a month from now, 9th of April, 8th of April, when they took the lives of Kian and Ronaldo, we said to you, Linden, we will stand to defend your right to life. And even today, as we see Mr. Jones and Mrs. Jones, we've said to the Jones family, only yesterday our dear brother Dexter Todd MP visited them to say that we will defend their right, which is the right to life that their son never had. This is Mar Jones. So we have been defending your rights, and we will continue to do that. So whether those rights even include to be a part of the decision-making process, Linden, we've demonstrated, we represented it then, and we will represent it now, because you have a right to be a part of the decision-making process. What that right brought you in 2012, Linden, to be a part of that process, was to be a part to ensure that it don't bring an increase on unbearable electricity. And we've stood firm on that right, and today, Linden, you continue to benefit from that. So understand, as we give that commitment to defend your right and advance as we intend to advance for you, Linden. What are the things we intend to ensure that will take you from this position of that state that the People's Progressive Party over the period have kept you in, is to ensure that we stand solidly with you. We intend to ensure, Linden, those matters that are affecting you, such as cost of living, those matters such as injustices, those matters such as corruption, we bring to you directly. Remember the same parliament, we can't even say the word. Here is the Minister of Finance saying to Guyana that we will put an anti-corruption unit in place. Linden, you know that is what? That is an admittance that we have corruption. And what is it that the Speaker is saying in Parliament? That we can't even address that in Parliament. We can't even say the word in Parliament. When the government, by saying anti-corruption, is accepting and acknowledging we have corruption. But we have said this to you, Linden. Those are issues that we will address. But as Comrade Duncan said, not only to bring to your attention, and Comrade Todd said, but to ensure that we advance them to the point of taking this government on and challenging them and ensure that they deliver to you, the people. So simple for that. When we speak of cost of living, we see this government speaking about the 100,000 cash grant. Linden, we have said to the people in this town, and they're making policy decisions without us knowing the numbers, as opposed to what's happening in your household. So when they're giving somebody in Georgetown or $1,000, the people in Madja, the people in Linden, when you look at increase in things that they have to consume, it's more than $100,000. When you see they say to the people, as someone called me today, and while we listen to this point, they're giving you $100,000 for your cash grant because they've not measured to see what's happening in your household. They're assuming it will take care of you. But when we have the people in the Berbice River saying to me, Mr. Solomon, it will take me $25,000 to come and set up a bank account. And it'll take me $10,000 when they're ready to give me that money to take it out. You are now spending out of the $100,000, almost half of that, just to get $100,000. But let me go further to that, Linden. When we were in Parliament, it is the Minister of Finance who said to us that outside of the billions they want to give you for cash grant, they set aside $2 additional billion. You know for what? To set out for share it to you. Now, why you charging $2 billion to share money through the bank? Y'all understand what's corruption? So they have taken $2 billion to do what they did last year, which is to go on the park, which is to pay them young people, which is to pay registration, which is to pay distribution. Now, happening, and they're taking $2 billion to administer this cash grant. So more than you not getting $100,000 in your pocket because you got to go through the hoops and hurdles, they're already not giving you what is entitled to you because family, friends, and favorites got to get their cut. So look at what they're looking at to deal with those issues of cost of living. Those social measures that the APNU have addressed in their manifesto is what this government intends to mimic and imitate. But when we look at that, we can only say that that is a cheap imitation. Even the name, to call your budget, putting people first. Guyanese, y'all in that after you heard the APNU manifesto of putting people first. But even as we laugh at that, the evidence is there as to exactly the menus and the measures to put you first. Got nothing to do with you, Linden. Got nothing to do with you, Guyana. It only got putting family, friends, and favorites first. So you look at the budget given to Linden. Linden budget, or in fact Region 10 budget, is $10 billion. $10 billion. They've moved that up from 8 billion, 8.5 last year. But let me tell you what is really given to you in $10 billion. Remember we talk about ensuring we defend your rights? Part of defending those rights in 2012, ensure that you got an electricity subsidies. You know how much is that? 4.5 alone of that 10 billion. Yes. You know what the remaining goes towards? Not capital, but current work to pay staff. Them teachers is what another 3 billion come out on. You see how far the money done gone up to 10? So then what was given to you, Linden, is road is about 15 million for one of them little stretch. So then in essence telling you that for 2026, the regional budget can give us no more than 10 roads. That is the investment in putting you, the people, first in Region 10. Now ask yourselves, is that really going to take care of our pensioners? Because the boast is they're giving 20,000 in transportation to pensioners. But you know why they're telling our big man friend, and them is the old dandy. They're telling you have to stay home, and only when it's pension day make them. Y'all is really old people and can't do nothing more than stay home and watch grandchildren. Because with 20,000, how do you get to do the things that keep you youthful? How do you get to do the things that allow you to socialize with friends? Because $20,000 by the time you jump in a car to go and come is already $1,000, $2,000. So you're looking at within 1 month, you $20,000 done. What do you do for the next 11 months? That is the type of putting people first budget that they've put in place, Linden. And we are here to tell you that is not putting you first, that is putting you last, behind family, friends, and favorites. But we are saying to you, Linden, in this new dispensation of the APNU, in this new dispensation of what we see in Parliament, it is important for us to appreciate what sort of representation is given to you. Because I want to bring this just to you, Linden. While in Parliament, it is important to know the treatment in this community. And I'll give you just one or a couple examples. We ask about it, and the minister was so gleeful to say, yes, we give money to the museum. Watch, we got brought up. $1,000 a year, which works out to $400 a day. That is what they intend to give, $400 a day. $400 a day is what this government gives to Linden to preserve the history, to preserve the bauxite legacy of over 110 years. So understand what is putting you and the people in this community first. It is not the People's Progressive Party. It is the APNU who will and have and will continue to put you first, Linden. We have talked about this situation in this market, about small businesses being able to submit names of party comrades so that they can get cash grant. So again, it's not me saying the money, so family, friends, and favorites. They were the ones who saying that. When you go to iTunes, they promised the people a $900 million grant. $900 million so that we can help small loggers. And let me tell Linden, by now if you don't know, a large part of the Linden economy depends on logging. If you didn't know, check Amelia's ward, where you got about 90 sawmills now. If you didn't know, check Blueberry Hill. If you didn't know, check along the highway or check over at Wisma. Those sawmills have exploded in terms of their presence in this community. So what helps small loggers? Grants. What helps the household in other parts of Region 10? That $900 million. And to date, not one small man was able to draw down on that. Only 11 family favorites consume $900 million. That is what this government intends to put you first in this region. So not only title, as we call it, an unofficial name, a title that says putting people first, when in essence, it is the APNU in its manifesto that have demonstrated that we put you first, Linden and Guyana. We have demonstrated that in every level. Whether we talk about those public servants, to date, anyone that is a teacher or a nurse or any police officer in our midst right here, right now, a budget of 1.558 trillion recently passed, and not one of you can rest assured that there's something in there directly speaking to you. I'm telling you that. There's nothing talking about increasing your salaries. There's nothing talking about any incentives or benefits for our public servants. But I'm saying that to you vendors here on this market. I've identified when our loggers are shortchanged. I'm now identifying when our public servants are shortchanged. It is going to shortchange you at the counter because they won't have enough to spend. So understand that you are not put first and center. You're put behind the line. I just showed you even in the budget consideration for this region, you're only given a couple $100 million. All of the investments have moved to other regions, and we can call Region 6. And we have no problem with development. In this region. Don't point to the state started under the APNU and say you now bring something, because they will be saying, had you had finished that 3 years ago, you would have been now able to start another transformational program in this town of Linden. So the question becomes, in this second term of the Ali government, when will we see another transformational initiative? And don't tell me about the Linden-Soesdijk Highway, the same 2-lane highway, the same highway that a young man lost his life on. I don't think about recklessness. You know why? Because it is the most unsafe highway in this whole country. And I am telling you that without any hesitation or contradiction. You check it now. It doesn't have the proper marking. It doesn't have no lights. And even though they promised those, these things have been absent from this community for generations and have caused generation hurt and pain in the suffering when people are losing their loved ones on that highway. So understand, the comrade asked, why is so much accident? The accidents are reflected in Linden and Region 10 predominantly because of the neglect of Linden and Region 10, especially with the Linden-Soesdijk Highway. For the infrastructure only for the extraction of resources and not the protection and support of people. So the highway ain't fixed for you. The highway fixed for the 3,000 more trucks that driving on the highway. Because the highway moved from 700 to 3,000 trucks now. Understand that. Ain't fixed for you. They ain't gonna fix Kokwani Road. Because Kokwani Road is not for people. It's to extract logs and aggregates. So you ask why the road is unsafe? Because it's not for you. It is to ensure that some people get rich while you remain not only poor, but in stress because we continue to lose our loved ones. That is the reality of 2026 budget. That is the reality of the PPP's governance over this community. And when you talk of that level of governance, it is a government that has absolutely no regards or respect for the issue of good governance in this country. One at a time, we talk about, you hear the comrade talk about the market square? All of those markets budgeted for last year, including Mackenzie Market. Hundreds of millions spent on Lenora Market, hundreds of millions spent on Parika Market, hundreds of money spent on Coriverton Market, and not $1 on the Mackenzie Market. And the $18 million that the mayor and the councillors have asked to be spent on the Wisma Market because you got a dirty, dingy-minded town clerk, not $1 have been spent on the Wisma Market. So here you have a government not only keeping you in the backward state of not putting you first, but even those very democratic things to ensure that you elevate yourselves, such as good governance, is removed from you, is taken for granted so that you are not able to benefit from that. But we are able to, here we are in Linden, as the APNU, as members of parliament, as those who are representing your interests, working at a position of disadvantage, we will not only, as I said, defend your rights on those things, we will advance your cause to ensure that as Guyanese, as Lindeners, you live decent and are able to benefit from the things that you deserve. We have talked about in this country, a level of fairness is given to every single individual. You heard we talk about justice. It is not only the issue of criminal matters to be dealt with, so that we can look at the justice for Kian and Ronaldo a year to come next month, the 8th and the 9th, and to ensure that Amar and his family get the justice for the young man who was murdered. But you who are alive, you deserve the justice, because to be robbed of your economic independence is to take away your economic justice. We live in this community, Linden, and you had a 1.558 trillion budget. We live in this community, Linden. We are running almost a million barrel of oil a day. You see why oil prices gone? A war of taking oil prices to over $100 a barrel. But even all of that glory and prosperity, Linden, do you feel any more connected to that prosperity? Do you feel as though we're an oil and gas economy, Linden? Do you feel as though we're the richest country in this world, Linden? Do you feel we are the fastest growing economy, Linden? And here why you cannot feel that, because 58% of you live in poverty, Linden. I am not the one that's saying it. And 38% of you, Linden, lives in abject poverty, which means 38% of the people in this town and Guyana survive on almost $670 a day. Can you imagine that? $670 a day is our survival for 35% of our brothers and sisters in this country. We are saying to you, Linden, that is not a budget, more so a government that puts you and the people of this country first. It is a budget and a government that is bent on putting family, friends, and favorites first while leaving you behind. But we are saying there are many things to check this government, and not only based on us doing that in Parliament, but the time to come, whether it's local government elections or even the next general election. And I'll say to you, Linden, you know, we can touch on something a little controversial. They got my name up on the ERC. That's no problem. We can live with every word that we said. Everything. We have absolutely no fear of what we say. Because I'm saying this to you for you to understand. You heard me just say to you, we're waiting for local government. You heard me just say to you, we might get another national election. I'm saying to you, we don't have to wait. We can do the things now to bring the level of agitation to this government so that they ensure that they deliver to you and surely put you, the people, first. And let me say this. You see the DJ, somebody said the DJ on point. The DJ is on point, because if you all know what it takes to start a revolution, and I've always said this to people, in that revolution becomes the merit to struggle. And we understand how to, especially rights. But let me just say this, Linden, because with every struggle comes sacrifices. And I can say this to Guyana and the PPP and the rest of this world. We are prepared to make the sacrifices, because in this tongue, in this region, we are not being given our fair share. So I can say to you, you can start with the boast. The minister pretend he know Shama Solomon in Parliament, when that same minister is today signing a $4.5 billion for a struggle and for sacrifices that were made 14 years ago. So understand what struggle and sacrifices bring. We must understand that oppression in this world is worse than death. And understand the oppressors will not bring you the glory unless you demand that. So we will not hesitate to speak. We will not hesitate to raise our voices. And we will not hesitate to challenge and to ensure that we struggle to make the necessary sacrifices on behalf of you, Linden. So whether it's regional chairman, whether it's mayor of this town of Linden, and now whether it's member of parliament, our consistency remain that your rights must be represented and your cause must be advanced so that you live like every decent Guyanese should in this country.
Black people, keep your heads up. Emperor Selassie, I bless them.
So then let me take this time to say this. We are giving to you front and center our street parliament. We are giving to you an opportunity to say a couple of things that we are not allowed to say in parliament, including corruption. And this is not the end of that. This is the beginning to ensure that we ground with you, our brothers and sisters. This is our opportunity and your opportunity, just like comrades were able to do just now, to speak not only with us, but to us, because we are your representatives. And we want you to know that those things will not only be represented, they will be advanced so that they can bring you the results to improve your lives. We have been talking in this tongue and this region about what will make Linden the heart of Guyana, because it is the heart of Guyana. It is positioned geographically as the heart of Guyana. You, the people, by your own level of living and style, have made it the heart of Guyana. And we are saying that after these exercise of street parliament, after the issues of bringing the matters front and center to you, taking them back to parliament to represent them, we will agitate beyond parliament for extra parliamentary initiatives. I leave you with just that. Wink, wink. Have a blessed rest of the evening.
Simplicity we use to survive. Men who find it difficult because they're ignorant and not.
Memory is all about understanding issues. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let us welcome this Norton again to stitch it together for us and send us on our way. Give it up once more for Mr. Aubrey Compton Norton, leader of the PNCR, leader of our Partnership for National Unity.
Good evening. I want to make it very quick. The first thing I want to say to Sharma Solomon and those who the ERC would have written, you should not go to the ERC. The ERC has shown that they are racist. There are many people around this country who are cussing out African Guyanese, saying all kinds of things, and the ERC doesn't summon them. In our books, therefore, the ERC is not a legitimate body. It is a PPP tool to be used against us, and we will not attend anything they call. That's the first point I want to make. The second point I want to make is this. A budget tells you how a government is thinking and acting. And when you look at this 2026 budget, there is nothing in it for the development of Linden. There is scope in Linden for the development of a tile industry. We have all that is needed to produce the tiles you see there. And if this government was serious, the budget would have reflected something like a tile industry. The budget would have reflected more and more small business. The budget would have reflected value added to the forestry products. But when you look at the budget, there is nothing of that kind. And it brings me to the other point. This budget cannot take people out of poverty. The biggest problem in this country is poverty. And until the government can produce a budget that will help to out of poverty, we are doing no business. When you look at what is happening, and if we left it, they can thief it. So we want it. But we must note that cash cannot take us out of poverty. We need of poverty, including Linden, the development of industry, the creation of soft loans and grants for people to do business, Those are the things, and they are absent in the budget. And I want to say this, the last thing to you. Since I was a boy in this country, the Mackenzie Sports Club was the property of the people of Linden. We need to take legal action against the government for seeking to take away from the community of Linden the Mackenzie Sports Club. The Mackenzie Sports Club should continue to be the property of the people of Linden in general and Mackenzie in particular. So I will put the lawyers in the PNC on notice that we will have to first take legal action against them and complement it with other forms of struggle to ensure that Mackenzie Sports Club continues to be our own. You need to look, as we go to local government, we need to look at the trend of this government. You could see that they took away Mackenzie Sports Club. You imagine if they win and control Linden, Linden people are dead. And so we will do everything in the local government election to ensure that the APNU wins Linden and continue to represent the people of Linden as we move forward. I also want to say this to you, that we must take the street parliament to every community in Linden, where we give Lindeners the opportunity to speak with us, engage us, and then we can act and represent them based on what they would have said to me. I want to say thank you for coming. I think it was a glorious afternoon into the evening, and you will see us regularly. Thank you.
Thank you. Give it up for Mr. Norton. All right, folks. No, you guys gotta go. Thank you for coming out this afternoon. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for having us. As Mr. Norton said, we will be back in the communities, in Wismar, in Mackenzie.